one of the big updates when it comes to Illuvium is Illuvium Zero. This is their free-to-play city builder game. Now, there are landowners on it, and we're going to be touching base on it. But this game, to be quite honest with you, is a big step in the right direction. It has very low barrier to entry. It's pretty fun if you're into city builder games, and overall is just another one to add on top of the interchain blockchain technology that they say they're going to be doing, which pretty much just means you're going to be able to use the assets from one game on another game. That's the simplest way of doing it. And to be honest, the gameplay, it looks pretty basic. It reminds me of those games from like 2010 where you had to go ahead, upgrade your base and attack others, and then they would have shields and all these cool things. It's going to be very similar to this. A big reason for that, I believe, is because they want to have a very low barrier to entry so that pretty much anyone can hop on there. You can capture Illuvials in the Illuvium overworld. You can go ahead and get these different buildings that will be able to produce these unique skins that will be able to be used in the game. And that, to me, is something very important that should be stated on Illuvium Zero, because this is so much more than just like, okay, you get Illuvium overworld, you get Illuvium arena, which are different parts of the Illuvium world. In fact, I think personally that Illuvium Arena to me is the most fun part. It's kind of like if you think of Dota 2 auto chess, slap Illuvium Arena on there. Illuvium Overworld, just slap any open world game out there with resource collection. And Illuvium Zero is that city builder game that is available on most platforms. So you combine those three together and you've got all the fundamentals on there. Now, when we're talking about Illuvium and like kind of what to be expecting from this title, well, for one, you have to be expecting the interchain part to be a very key part of it. You know, there's fuel that you're going to have to be using in different aspects of Illuvium, which I think is really cool. But an even bigger thing for Illuvium has kind of been their focus on their intellectual property, which is their IP. And the main thing when we're talking about things like this is the fact that they're going to be going ahead and using this technology to be able to build on more future titles than just Illuvium itself. Illuvium should be seen as like kind of like this empire builder where you're beginning off on this overworld which is continuously being built upon, this arena that's getting more Illuvials with the whole Pokemon aspect, and then you've got everything on steroids with the city builder, right? So you've got all the three different things that you need to have a successful IP. And I think personally that Illuvium Zero isn't the part I'm looking forward to the most, but the alpha is coming. It's available to landholders. There are these NFTs in this game, which personally, I'm not a big fan of the word NFT. I think it doesn't really do much justice to the technology, and I hope one day this ends up changing. The plots right now are actually going up in price. These are $570 to get into. Cool thing about Illuvium Zero, though, is that it's free to play too. So if you're actually just into playing these games for free, then you're going to enjoy this title. You're going to enjoy this title because it's just a solid game all around. It's got everything you need to have in an IP that can have further growth in the future. It clearly has a lot of developers working on it, and it's like one of these titles that I feel like can actually represent the cryptocurrency space in a way that is fair and just. And in fact, I don't even like using the word crypto because it should be just like Web3, you know, a more decentralized technology where like the people have the power. We have the power to buy the land plots. We have the power to go ahead and grab the resources and sell it in the open market. You know, I think it's pretty much you grab a normal game and you just make it way easier to transact in between, and you've got Illuvium. On top of Illuvium, you've got the solid gameplay that you should kind of grow to love. I mean, the Illuvium gameplay trailer was essentially the same thing as the actual game. I mean, you could actually see the Illuvium open world and the Illuvium arena. It looks pretty good. I mean, in all means of accounts, it looks like a pretty solid game. And, you know, when we're looking at partnerships, when we're looking at things like Google, Epic Games, Steam, and all these other different marketplaces, they're looking for games like Illuvium. And when you're thinking about something like the Illuvium DAO and the Illuvium coin and all these different aspects of Illuvium, I feel like my importance of Illuvium kind of goes and stretches further than just their coin. Sure, there might be some value that comes from that as a transactional tool and as the many different aspects that Illuvium's ILV is going to be used for. But more than anything, I'm trying to see if Illuvium as a game can stand the test of time versus other very solid AAA Web 2 or just like regular games if you guys are new into stuff like Illuvium. And that's kind of like your big gambit. Like, is a game like Illuvium going to be able to compete against something free to play in the Web 2 space, where you can go ahead, hop on there, and then you have the first purchaser advantage where things cost $1 and then things begin to ramp up and all these different predatory tactics these regular games have? Is something Web3 going to be able to kind of show to the world that there's a lot more to see in these games than just like, okay, well, you hop on there, you buy something for a ridiculous amount of money, and that's it? You know, is the barrier to entry going to become significantly cheaper to the point where you can spend the $60 to $70 that a regular AAA game just goes ahead and quotes you for, but maybe, possibly, you can resell that in the future if you don't want to play Illuvium anymore? Maybe it's not worth $60, but it could be worth 50, 40, 30, but you had that great experience. And so you decided, hey, maybe I want to, get a collectible. Maybe I don't want to sell my copy of Illuvium. Maybe I don't want to sell this rare skin that I received, because just like Counter-Strike Global Offensive, that skin may one day be worth a ton of money. We saw a big craze on Illuvium for the longest of time in terms of their items very early on. We saw the same exact thing happen to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. CSGO had a big run in a lot of its items only because there was a lot of demand, and the demand kind of translated over to those legacy collectible items that people just could not play with. And this is exactly what it needs to be. Games like Illuvium are going to be great for our space. They're going to be a great representation of what it means to be a crypto game in the 21st century. I hate the term. I think the term needs to change. I think NFTs need to become cheaper. I think it needs to become easier to transact between these. But this is all things that are being done. And to be honest with you, I still think games like Illuvium, just in general in Web3 gaming, still have a lot to do to get easier to transact with, to use in general. It's still too complicated. There's too many little terms that are kind of affecting the way people see these games. And, I hope that changes by the time Illuvium comes out. They still have quite some time before the full release is there, so there's always the benefit of the doubt. But if you look at the gameplay right here, this is the Illuvium overworld, you're going to say, damn, this looks pretty good. This actually looks like a game I could see myself playing in the future. And this is not even the full release of the game, so one can only imagine once the game gets more life, once more things are added, what is to be expected from a title like Illuvium. But this is definitely very easily on the top 3 crypto games that I am looking forward to in the year of 2023, because I feel like they're going to knock it out of the ballpark here. They've already shown a ton of progress in the different aspects of this. And if you're asking me what kind of game is actually going to be a game, I can tell you guys, Illuvium is going to be a game. So my name is Classic Crypto. This is my gaming channel. Cover the latest and greatest in the crypto gaming space. As always, stay safe, stay classy, and that's all.